The session is called to order. Please rise for a minute of silent prayer and meditation. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiging, sa manlulupit, di ka pa sisingil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong baka, may nilangang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagtitigil. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng waraming pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya dapat may mga apit at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we defer the calling of the roll of members. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? Hearing none. Motion approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve Journal Number 38, dated February 3, 2020. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? Hearing none. The motion is approved. Journal number 38, dated February 3, 2020 is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we proceed with the reference of business. And for this purpose, the Secretary General is hereby please direct the Secretary General to read the bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as communications and committee reports. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the title of bills, resolutions, and other references for first reading.
Reference of business. Bills on first reading. House Bill number 6122, protecting the consumers and merchants engaged in internet transaction, creating for the purpose the E-Commerce Bureau. Representative Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill number 6124, renewing the franchise granted to Kaiser Broadcasting Network under RA number 8027 for another 25 years from effectivity of this act. Representative Enverga.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill number 6125, suspending the implementation of the use of mother tongue as a medium of instruction for kindergarten to grade 3. Representative Romulo.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill number 6126, establishing the Basilan Sports Academy in Isabela, Basilan. Representative Hataman and Sangkopan.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill number 6127, increasing the tax on idle land. Representative Yap Victor.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 6128, providing for a national framework for interns' rights and welfare. Representative Yap Victor.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 6129, establishing a nursing home for homeless and abandoned senior citizens in every city or municipality in the Philippines. Representative Yap Victor.
To the Special Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill number 6130, establishing the Barangay Integrated Development Approach for nutrition improvement of the rural poor as a network program of the participating state universities and colleges. Representative Yap Victor.
To the Committee on Rural Development.
House Bill number 6131, providing for the development of sustainable cities and communities in the country. Representative Yap Victor.
To the Committee on Housing and Urban Development.
House Bill number 6132, providing protection to freelancers. Representative Yap Victor.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 6133, strengthening further the standard of protection and enhancement of the welfare of the self-employed workers and craftsmen and the promotion of entrepreneurship. Representative Yap Victor.
To the Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development.
House Bill number 6138, renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to ABS-CBN Corporation under RA 7966 by Representative Mark Go.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill Number 6140, establishing the Philippine Children's Medical Center for Visayas and the Philippine Children's Medical Center for Mindanao by Representative Defensor Lawrence Tupas Goriseta.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill Number 6141 and 6142, establishing the Disciplina Village Elementary School and Malinta Elementary School, Pinalagad Annex as separate and independent elementary schools by Representative Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill Number 6143, providing for the protection of financial consumers by Representative Cua.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill Number 6145, establishing a special economic zone in Ormoc City, Leyte, to be known as the Eastern Visayas Special Economic Zone by Representatives Torres Gomez and Noel.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs and the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill Number 6146, creating the OFW Sovereign Fund by Representative Olivares.
The Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs.
House Bill Number 6147, strengthening further the pre-departure orientation program for OFWs to include financial and entrepreneurial education by Representative Olivares.
The Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs.
House Bill Number 6148, granting additional benefits and privileges to senior citizens with disabilities by Representative Datol.
To the Special Committee on Senior Citizen and the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill Number 6149, declaring Catanduanes as the Abaca capital of the Philippines by Representative Teves Jose.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill Number 6150, declaring November 15 of every year as special non-working holiday in Oriental Mindoro to be known as Araw ng Oriental Mindoro by Representative Umali
To the
Alfonso.
Committee on Local Government.
House Bill Number 6151, creating a system of partnership between local governments and civil society organizations through the establishment of a People's Council in every LGU by Representative Umali Alfonso.
To the Committee on People's Participation.
House Bill Number 6152, establishing an LTO satellite office in Pinamalayan, Oriental Mindoro by Representative Umali Alfonso.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill Number 6153, codifying the alternative child care laws, reorganizing the Inter-Country Adoption Board into a National Authority for Child Care by Representative Lim.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill Number 6154, providing for the Magna Carta for Public Councilors by Representative Rodriguez.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill Number 6155, strengthening and modernizing the Bureau of Fire Protection by Representative Rodriguez.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill Number 6156, declaring and defining the maritime zones under the jurisdiction of the Republic of the Philippines by Representative Rodriguez.
To the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
House Bill Number 6157, providing for creative industry welfare protection by Representative De Venecia.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill Number 6158, establishing a separate schools division office in San Miguel, Zamboanga del Sur by Representative Babasa.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill Number 6159, establishing the Eastern Pangasinan Regional Medical and Trauma Center in Rosales, Pangasinan by Representative
To
Estrella.
the Committee on Health.
House Bill Number 6160, codifying the alternative child care laws, reorganizing. House Bill Number 6166, appropriating the sum of 2 billion and 40 million pesos as supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2020 by Representative Tan Angelino.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill Number 6168, amending RA 10303, creating an RTC branch in Aurora to be stationed at Kasiguran, Aurora by
To the-
Representative Angar.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill Number 6160, codifying the alternative child care laws, reorganizing the Inter-Country Adoption Board into a National Authority for Child Care by Representative Castelo.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill Number 6161, further liberalizing the rice and corn industry by Representative Garin Sharon.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill Number 6162, reorganizing and converting the Insurance Commission into a collegial body by Representative Garin Sharon.
To the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization and the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill Number 6163, amending Sections 3, 8, and 9 of RA 9856 by Representative Garin Sharon.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs.
House Bill Number 6164, converting the Junction Highway Panabo Poblacion, Panabo Wharf Road, and San Pedro Cagangohan Coastal Road up to Kilometer 29, Barangay J. Pilarol Junction, Maharlika National Highway, from local roads to national roads by Representative Duhali.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill Number 6165, instituting the Magna Carta of Daycare Workers by Representative Nieto.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill Number 6166, appropriating the sum of 2,040 million pesos as supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2020 by Representative Tan Angelina.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill Number 6168, amending RA 10303, creating an RTC branch in Aurora to be stationed at Kasiguran by Representative Angara.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill Number 6169, converting the LTO Gimbal Iloilo Extension Office into a regular LTO Class D District Office by Representative Garin Janet.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill Number 6170, establishing permanent evacuation centers in northern Cebu, Indaan Bantayan, and the islands of Bantayan, Malapascua, Kinatarkan, and Carnasa, Cebu by Representative Salimbangon.
To the Committee on Disaster Management.
House Bill Number 6171, renationalizing the Benguet General Hospital in La Trinidad, Benguet, placing under the direct supervision and control of the DOH, increasing its bed capacity to 400 beds by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill Number 6172, renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to Iriga Telephone Company under RA 5974 as amended by RA 8962 by Representative Fortuno.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill Number 6173, mandating banking institutions to strengthen the financing system for agricultural, fisheries, and rural development in the Philippines. Representative Villafuerte.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill Number 6174, strengthening further the anti-money laundering law. Representative Kua.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill Number 6175, separating the Dunlop National High School, Bagong, Valencia Extension in Barangay Bagong, Valencia, Dumingang, Zamboanga del Sur from Dunlop National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Bagong Valencia Agricultural National High School. Representative Yu.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill Number 6176, creating an additional legislative district in Negros Oriental to be known as the 4th Legislative District. Representative Sagarbaria.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill Number 6177, appropriating the sum of 2,060,000,000 pesos as supplemental budget to address the risk of the 2019 NCOV to public health. Representative Salceda.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Resolutions. House Resolution 682, urging the House through the Committee on Human Rights to conduct an investigation on the killing of farmer Pelasio Compok of Bilar, Bohol. Representative Colyamat, Zarate, Gaite, Castro Franz, Brosas, and Elago.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 683, urging the House through the Committee on Human Rights to condemn and investigate the illegal arrest of 4 peasant leaders in Bukidnon last January 23, 2020. Representative Colyamat, Zarate, Gaite, Castro Franz, Brosas, and Elago.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 684, directing the Committee on Labor and Employment of the House to conduct an inquiry on the nature, function, and mission of the Joint Industrial Peace and Concerns Office. Representative Mendoza.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 685, requesting the House to conduct an inquiry into the online companies such as Grab, Lazada, Surplus, Shopee, Airbnb, Angkas, and other similar companies as to whether they are correctly paying their taxes and to determine how much. Representative Savillano.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 686, directing the Committees on Public Accounts and Health to conduct an inquiry on the facilities, capacity, capabilities, and performance report of all provincial, district, regional, and specialty hospitals and come up with nationwide database in order to encourage the efficient use of government resources and the delivery of basic medical services. Representative Defensor Michael.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 687, commending and congratulating the Honorable Deputy Speaker Michael Aldin L. Romero, PhD, for his medal clinching performance in the recently concluded 30 SEA Games. Representative Singson.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 688, urging the government of the United States of America to issue an apology for the atrocities committed by its military forces against Filipino people during the Philippine-American War and the imposition of U.S. colonial rule. Representative Castro Franz, Zarate, Gaite, Colyamat, Brosas, and Ilago.
To the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
House Resolution 689, urging airline companies to give due consideration to all passengers who book flights to foreign countries with confirmed cases of the 2019 nCoV. Representative Reyes.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Resolution 690, congratulating and commending Dexler Bumlabao for winning the Philippines' first gold medal in arnis at the 30th SEA Games. Representative Romualdez Yeda and Romualdez Ferdinand.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
Communications, letters dated September 17, 2019, of Engineer Rosalinda B. Bote, Acting Department Manager, Upper Pampanga River Integrated Irrigation Systems, NIA, submitting to the House the approved calendar year 2020 program of works for the improvement of canal service roads of UP RIIS Division 1.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
Letter dated January 9, 2020, of Dr. Tirso A. Ronquillo, University President, Batangas State University, presenting to the House of BAT State U, President's Report, July 2014 to July 2018, an institutional
To the Committee
calendar.
on Higher and Technical Education.
Letter dated January 20, 2020, of Minerva I. Morales, President 3, Catanduanes State University, submitting their budget accountability report as of December 31, 2019, of the CSU generated from the DBM Unified Reporting
To
System.
the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated 21 January 2020, of Maria Glenda E. Lim, State Auditor 5, Supervising Auditor, Auditor Groups, CGS 1 and 2 Water Districts, and other CGA standalone agencies. Regional Office number 6, COA, furnishing the House with a copy of the annual audited report on the Tobias Fournier Water District of Antique for the years ended December 31, 2016, 2017, and
To
2018.
the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated January 22, 2020, of General Ricardo Visaya, Administrator, NAIA, submitting fourth quarter report of the NAIA CARP irrigation component for calendar year
To the
2019.
Committee on Public Works and Highways.
Letter dated 27 January 2020, of Jaime H. Morante, Commissioner, Bureau of Immigration, submitting the Bureau's fourth quarterly collection report of the express lane fee,
To the Committee on Appropriations.
quarterly financial and physical report of operations for the quarter ending December 31, 2019, of Ilocos Norte Province of the Local Government Support Fund, conditional matching grant to provinces for road repair, rehabilitation, and improvement, attested by Governor Matthew J. Marcos Monotok.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Committee reports number 216 of the Committees on Higher and Technical Education and Appropriation on House Bill number
To the
6167.
Committee on Rules.
Report number 217, Committees on Civil Service and Professional Regulation and Appropriation on House Bill number 6181.
To the Committee on Rules.
Committee reports, report on Committee on Youth and Sports Development on House Bill number 6192, entitled An Act Preserving the Indigenous Games of the Philippines.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 697 of the Committee on Youth and Sports regarding House Bill number 697.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 220 on House Bill number 6192 by the Committee on Natural Resources and the Committee on Appropriations.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, please acknowledge the guests of Honorable Eric L. Olivares, representative of the 1st District of Parañaque City. They are teachers and senior high school students from Olivares College of Parañaque.
Guests of Representative Eric Olivares from 1st District of Parañaque, please rise. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that to suspend session.
Session suspended.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we resume session.
Sessions resume. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, please acknowledge the guest of Honorable Estrelitas S1 Singh of the 1st District of Nueva Ecija. They are her constituents, Mr. McCoy Alfonso and Mr. King Bigkas.
Guest of the birthday girl, Honorable Jing Swan Singh from the 1st District of Nueva Ecija. Please rise. Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader.
I move that we suspend session.
Session suspended.
Yan, resume ko na dahil nandito ka.
Sessions resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we call the roll of members.
Any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General is hereby directed to call the roll of members.
Roll call of members, honorable representatives. Abante. Abaya. Abellanosa. Abu. Abueg Saldivar. Abunda. Acop. Acosta Alba. Adyong. Advincula. Agabas. Agaraw. Aglipay. Aguinaldo. Albano. Almario. Alonte. Alvarez Franz. Alvarez Genaro. Alvarez Pantaleon. Amante Matba. Amatong. Andaya. Angara. Aragones. Arbison. Arenas. Arroyo. Atienza. Aumentado. Babasa. Bagatsing. Balindong. Banyas Nograles. Barba. Barbers. Baronda. Barsaga. Baskug. Bautista. Bautista Bandigan. Belmonte. Benitez. Bernos. Biazon. Billones. Biron. Bolilia. Bondok. Bordado. Bravo. Brosas. Bulut. Bustos. Kabatbat. Kabochan. Cabredo. Cagas. Calderon. Calixto. Caminero. Campos. Canama. Kawagdan. Cari. Castelo. Castro Franz. Castro Fredenil. Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero. Cayetano Maria Laarni. Celeste. Chato. Chipeco. Chungalao. Co Angelica Natasha. Co Elizaldi. Co Juanco. Colliantes. Crisologo. Cua. Quaresma. Cueva. Culyamat. Dagoo. Dalipe. Dalog. Datol. Daza. De Jesus. De Venecia. Defensor Lawrence. Defensor Michael. Del Mar. De Los Santos. De Los Montalia. Dimaporo Abdullah. Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid. Duavit. Duhali. Duterte. D. Faustino Ino. D. Faustino Michael III. D. Ian Paul. Ebcas. Ecleo. Elago. Enverga. Erice. Erigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Fariñas Ria Cristina, Fariñas Rudy Cesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Ferrer Luis Jonjon, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Frasco, Fuentebella, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique Joet, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed Christopher, Go Mark, Gonzaga Ruel Peter, Gonzales Aurelio Dong, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Carlo Lisandro, Goriseta, Guico, Gulyas, Guya, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Haloshos, Javier, Jimenez, Co Elisa, Co Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lazatin, Liachon, Legarda, Lim, Lim Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Lusotan, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Mangudadatu, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Momo, Natividad Naganyo, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Nunez Maleniaon, Uaminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Uano Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radaza, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sangkopan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulog, Savellano, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Suansing Estrelita, Suansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, C. Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Samir, Tan Sharian, Tan Shernin, Tejada, Teves Arnolfo, Teves Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, T. Alan, T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva Eduardo Brother Eddie, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikurat, Zarate, Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 215 members responded to the call.
With 215 members responded to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum.
Mr. Speaker,
What's the pleasure of the gentleman from Buhay Party List?
we are constrained to take note that we do not have 215 members on the floor. There are only 107, and that is too far from the truth. Maybe we'd like the majority floor leader to explain the distortion in the count of the secretariat. Doble, 107 to 15. I'll say that.
The majority leader, please respond. Please respond.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, our esteemed colleague, the Honorable Atienza, is once again correct, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, because we have many members, 75 of them, who are still in ongoing committee hearings and whose attendance is counted on the floor as they are in the different committees. And with the indulgence of the Honorable Atienza, may I read? 3 are on official business, 12 are in the Committee on Appointments, 17 are in the Hearing of Trade and Industry along with Health, 30 are in the Committee on Transportation, 8 are in the ongoing Agrarian Reform Committee hearing, and 5 in Labor and Employment. So that explains the discrepancy between those on the floor and those counted as present, as 75, Mr. Speaker, are in the various committee hearings. We thank the Honorable Atienza for
Speaker.
keeping the majority active in its attendance in the plenary.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader said we have 75 members attending committees. We will not question that coming from the majority leader himself. But 75 plus 107 is not 215. Still, there is a discrepancy between 215 and 182 if we add up 75 to 107.
Mr. Speaker, we note very well the manifestation of the Honorable Atienza, but as far as this representation is concerned, his presence alone constitutes a quorum.
The
Mr. Speaker.
remarks of Honorable Atienza and the remarks of the majority leader is properly and duly noted.
Yes.
Majority leader.
Mr. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I
allow
move
me
that
to
we continue
explain and
recognize the
conclude
Honorable Atienza.
my point that I have raised. We are willing to accept the fact that members are attending committees right now. We are also acceptable to the idea that we can add up to constitute a quorum. But we would like to remind the majority leader and the speaker himself, we cannot vote on a measure with an assumed presence where there is none. As long as we just go through exercises of legislative processes without voting, this representation will cooperate with you. But otherwise, we will question the validity of anyone who is not present to be allowed to vote on any measure. Thank you.
Majority leader.
Very well noted, Mr. Speaker, and we thank the Honorable Atienza.
Majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of unfinished business, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill 5989 as contained in Committee Report number 200, submitted by the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Disaster Management. And for this purpose, may I ask that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill. I so
Any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the title of House Bill 5989 under Committee Report 200 for consideration on second reading.
House Bill Number 5989, an act creating the Department of Disaster Resilience, defining its mandate, powers, and functions, and appropriating funds therefor.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the parliamentary status of the bill is that it is in the period of sponsorship and debate. I move that we recognize the Honorable Yeda Marie Romualdez to sponsor the said measure.
Representative Yeda Romualdez is recognized to sponsor House Bill 5989.
Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, I am honored to sponsor on the floor House Bill 5989 entitled An Act Creating the Department of Disaster Resilience, defining its mandate, powers, and functions, appropriating funds therefor, and for other purposes. Disaster resilience is an advocacy that is very close to my heart. I first introduced this bill during my first year in the House of Representatives, championing its passage for the next 3 years as representative of the 1st District of Leyte. As a neophyte member of Congress in 2016, I wrote to the newly elected President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to include in his first State of the Nation address and in his priority legislative agenda the creation of a cabinet-level department fully dedicated to disaster management and disaster resilience. The President did not disappoint this representation. Not only did he mention it in his SONA in 2016, he likewise repeated it in his succeeding SONAs in 2018 and 2019. 3 years have gone by. We have yet to realize the long overdue plea of the President for Congress to pass the measure creating the Department of Disaster Resilience. But the need to guarantee disaster resilience has become even more urgent. We cannot delay it any further. In the last 6 months, our country has experienced a series of strong earthquakes in Mindanao, at least 2 destructive typhoons that hit Bicol and Leyte, and the recent eruption of Taal volcano, which has effectively displaced tens of thousands of fellow Filipinos, destroying their homes and source of livelihood. More than 6 years ago, the Super Typhoon Haiyan ravaged and devastated our home provinces of Leyte and Samar. But it also taught us how to be better equipped, understand and respond to typhoons and other natural hazards. That is why we continue to be strong in our resolve to continue working for the creation of a Department of Disaster Resilience, which will primarily be responsible for leading, managing, and organizing the national effort to reduce disaster risk, prepare for and respond to disasters, and recover, rehabilitate, and build forward better after the occurrence of disasters. With natural disasters happening with increasing frequency and intensity, it is high time that we create a Department of Disaster Resilience that will effectively reduce our vulnerability to natural hazards and bolster our resilience to the impact of national disasters. As the country's primary disaster management agency, the Department of Disaster Resilience shall integrate and define what needs to be done, where it needs to be done, based on what standards, how it should be done, and how well it should be done. We need a Department of Disaster Resilience that will consolidate and support local disaster risk reduction efforts and has the full responsibility to take the lead in undertaking disaster preparedness and response in areas that are severely affected by natural disasters. A new Department of Disaster Resilience will effectively improve the institutional capacity of the government for disaster risk reduction and management, reduce the vulnerability surrounding the affected local population, as well as build the resilience of local communities to both natural disasters and climate change. It is important that we do so now with the utmost urgency, for what is at stake is the safety and the lives of our people. With the creation of the Department of Disaster Resilience, we can look forward to the future with hope, knowing that the government is ready, better equipped, and committed to exert its best effort to protect lives and properties and to ensure that such tragedies will never happen again. Thank you very much.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Joey Salceda of the 2nd District of Albay for his sponsorship speech.
The representative for the 2nd District of Albay, Honorable Joey Salceda, is recognized to sponsor House Bill 5989.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Nagsimula po ang journey ng Department of Disasters sa dalawang bagay. Unang-una po noong 2013, kailangan nating harapin bakit maraming namatay sa Yolanda. Kahit na meron po tayong Republic Act 10121, maraming namatay dahil sa Yolanda. So ano ang kulang? At yun ang kailangan punuan ng ating pong proposal na batas. Ang pangalawa na pinagsimulan nito ay nakapaloob mismo sa Republic Act 10121 na dapat simula Mayo or after 5 years ng kanyang approval ay magkaroon po ng sunset review. Halos 95% ng proposal o ng committee report na nakahain sa harap po natin ngayon, maliban naman po sa mga salita, kahit gaano po kasubstansyal, subarit po ang mga prinsipyo nito ay nanggagaling po doon sa prinopose po o output ng sunset review. Kaya minabuti po ng ating pong Kongreso, noong 17th Congress, naaprobahan po ang DDR bill, subalit po hindi po ito mapalad na aprobahan po sa Senado. Sa matuwid, ngayon po maaga na hinihingi po ng ating pong mga proponent, lalong-lalo na ang ating pong late representative na si Yeda Romualdez na kumakatawan pa doon sa kung bakit po tayo merong Department of Disaster Resilience. Bakit 10,000 ang namatay sa Leyte? At ano dapat ang gawin ng gobyerno? Sa puntong ito, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker, I would just like to submit my 5-page sponsorship speech in order to allow other speakers, in order to allow this Congress to proceed with the other matters that are just as important. So may I just ask the leave of the Speaker if I could just give my written sponsorship speech to the Secretariat for its proper recording. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize...
Before that, Majority Leader, any objection to the proposal, to the motion of the sponsor to insert his 5-page sponsorship speech to the record of the House of Representatives? Any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Lito Atienza of Buhay Party List for his interpellation. So move, Mr.
Honorable Lito Atienza, representative from Buhay Party List.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the kind cooperation and acceptance of the gentleman, this representation would like to ask questions about the measure that he has offered to the body, the Disaster Resiliency and Reduction Office or Department. Am I right in my
Tama po.
appreciation?
Yes, tama po.
Naniniwala po ba kayo na ang ating bansa ay maliligtas na sa mga disgrasya ng kalikasan kapag bumuo tayo ng isang kagawaran or department na mangangalaga sa ating kapakanan?
Nandyan na po yan mga given po yan. Marami tayong aktibong bulkan na bigla na lang pumuputok. Taon-taon binibisita tayo ng 20 na bagyo. Mga 5 dyan, malalakas. Mayroon po tayo ang ating mga kalupaan ay napag-aralan na sa may ibang parte na may kalambutan. Mayroon po tayo ng mga lugar na pwede pong bahain dahil po sa mabilis na urbanisasyon ng ating pong lipunan. Subalit, ito pong pinapanukala ang siyang pong magliligtas sa buhay ng mga tao na nahaharap po sa peligro ng mga to. So in simple language, hindi po I cannot transfer my own volcano to Masbate. But the province of Albay always has 0 casualty no matter what kind of eruption na magkaroon po noong 2006, 2009, 2014, and 2018, Your Honor, wala pong namatay sa nipo ng eruption ng bulkan. Yun po ang ginagawa po nitong Department of Disaster Resilience.
Ang kagalang-galang na kongresista ng Albay ay dating gobernador. Di po ba?
Tama po.
At kayo'y naging masipag, masinop, maagap, at gumanap ng inyong tungkulin. Kaya ang Albay ay ang indistrito nyo, lalo-lalo na, ay hindi masyadong naapektuhan ng anumang sakuna ng kalikasan. Saksi po ang inyong lingkod, sapagkat ako'y local government official din po ng mga panahong yon, at nakita ko ang inyong ginagawa, na ginagawa rin namin sa Maynila.
Opo.
Kaya nagkaroon ng kaligtasan ang ating mga pinaglilingkuran. Ngayon, sa inyong paliwanag, para bagang humahanap pa rin kayo ng paraan upang lalo pang maligtas ang ating mga kababayan. Yan ba'y isang pag-amin na ang national government ay hindi gaanong epektibo kung walang department na bubuuin?
Inaamin po, dahil po 10,000 namatay sa Yolanda. Kahit meron na po tayong Republic Act 10121 at yun po ang butas na pinupunuan nito pong Department of Disaster Resilience.
Hindi po ba niyo matatanggap na ang solusyon sa mga problema ay hindi bumuo ng kagawaran, kung hindi tiyakin ang pagganap ng tungkulin ng mga kinauukulan? Ano man ang ating kagawaran na buuin, kung hindi po naman gagawin yung trabaho, ay ganun din po ang magiging perwisyo sa ating mga mamamayan. Sapagkat ang ating nakikitang pagkukulang ay pagkakamali ng mga namamahala at pagkukulang ng mga inaasahan.
Hindi rin po natin maintindihan na may mga bagong kaalaman, na may ang ating pong mga karanasan ay mainam pong gamitin upang ang gobyerno ay maorganisa para po mas epektibo siya sa pagtugon dito po sa peligro. Mapasiguro po na lahat ay ligtas. Pangalawa, na mabilis po makabanumbalik sa normalcy ang lahat. At pangatlo, na dapat magpatuloy po ang paglago ng ating lipunan sa gitna po ng lahat ng mga peligro. Sa mga Your Honor, hindi lang po yung pagliligtas, kundi ang pagpasiguro na mabawas-bawasan po natin ang peligro. Kaya nga po, ito po ay Department of Disaster Resilience. Hindi po to Department of Disaster Response. Kasi nga po, may kakayahan ang ating Estado sa paggamit ng kanyang poder, sa paggamit po ng kanyang pong resources, paggamit po ng teknolohiya, upang pong mabawasan ang peligro na pwedeng harapin ng mga ordinaryong pamilya sa ating pong lipunan.
Sa pananaw po ng inyong lingkod, ang ating mga batas ay nakaumang na, nakatalaga. Ang ating mga mamamayan ay nakaalam na rin ng mga panganib. Kung merong nadidisgrasya, ay marahil pwede nating tiyakin na ito'y hindi dahil sa nagkulang ang dapat na tumugon, kung hindi nagkulang ang mga desisyon ng mga kinauukulan. I'll give you an example. Yolanda hit Tacloban. Very, very disastrously. Tama po ba yun? Naalala po ba niyo yun?
There are other ways of interpreting, Your Honor, but I heard about it.
Lumaki ang disgrasya at marami na perwisyo at hanggang ngayon ay hindi mabuo-buo ang mga dapat na binubuo sapagkat mali ang hinahanap na paraan at hindi tinutumbok ang dapat pag-ukulan ng pansin. Ang local government, provincial government, ang siyang talagang nakapwesto nasa loob ng ating mga batas at binibigyan diin ng ating konstitusyon. On the principle of local autonomy, the local government units should be supported fully. But the problem of Yolanda magnified and became almost out of control because the national government then played politics and did not go through the local government or provincial government simply because they were not belonging to the same party. Kaya ang pagkukulang po, kaya maraming nadidisgrasya at hindi mahanapan ng solusyon ang mga naapektuhan ng bagyo, lindol, baha, ay dahil sa pagkukulang ng mga namumuno at hindi dahil sa pagkukulang ng batas. I sincerely believe creating another department will only create an illusion that the problem will be reduced. But in reality, it will worsen. Why? Because the provincial government and the local governments will not now be on their toes to protect the interests of their constituencies simply because we created an illusion that the department is now in charge. But in reality, wala pong masyadong ibubunga yan. At lalo lang lalaki ang perwisyo sa taong bayan. Can you now guarantee us that creating a department will make the efforts of the government more effective in helping the people, in getting the social welfare department move faster, in getting the other agencies to do their job? Sa ngayon, meron na po tayong tinatawag na geo-hazard mapping of the country. Alam po ninyo yun, sapagkat isa kayo sa mga batikan na kinonsulta namin nung binubuo yan. So therefore, technically and truthfully, each local government or provincial government can prepare for whatever is coming their way. We know that for a fact, 21 typhoons passed through the country or in our areas of responsibility. Earthquakes are bound to happen. Landslides are bound to happen. Ang problema po hindi yata na ipapamahagi yung mapang yun at hindi nabibigyan ng impormasyon ang mga lokal. Naniniwala ba kayo na ang isang departamento managed by a secretary, incidentally, pagpili lang ng secretary dyan at pagbuo ng kagawaran will take 2-3 years, maybe even more. Do you believe that creating a department will now improve the protection of our people's lives and properties? You sincerely believe that, Mr. Governor?
Yes,
Efficient Governor?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm quite disappointed.
ayoko naman na
I'm quite
palampas
disappointed with the answer of the gentleman because he has proven that local autonomy is the solution to many problems of our nation. But up to now, the national government does not provide the avenue for local officials to function as they should. And now that he is sponsoring this measure, I appeal to him. Don't create an illusion that life will be better for us when we create a department. We just created the Department of Housing. Look what happened to the housing sector. Tumigil ang produksyon. Mas lumaki ang pagkukulang ng bahay sa mga mamamayan. We are creating a Department of Water. Pag may problema, ang solusyon, department creation. Ngayon naman, dahil sa maraming mga hampas ng unos at ng kalikasan, we are creating a Department of Disaster Resiliency and whatever. Kaya ipagpaumanin ninyo. Malubos po ang aking paniniwala na hindi makatutulong itong department na ito. Magkakaroon lang ng alibis for failure. The local government officials will say, we are no longer in charge. You know, it's the Department of Disaster Resiliency who should be blamed. And everybody will be pointing to each other. Meanwhile, people will keep on suffering the consequences of anticipated national disasters. Can I have your position on that, Mr. Governor, Congressman?
Ang dami kasi yung tanong eh. Unang-una, bakit? Tulad po ng naniniwala po ko na inihinhance o ginagalang ang primacy ng local government sa pagtugon po sa mga peligro. Hindi po binubura ng Department of Disaster Resilience. But tulad po na mag-asawa na nagdesisyon na mamukod, kung minsan po naharap sa isang problema na hindi nila kinakaya, kaya po kailangan po ang magulang. Ang nangyayari po ngayon kaya hindi natutulungan sila, halimbawa sa example nyo sa Yolanda, dahil po hindi magkasundo yung mag-asawa na mga magulang. Ang ginagawa po na Department of Disaster Resilience ay pinapasiguro na imbis na po isang cluster na kailangan mag-meeting, kanya-kanyang miyembro, kung minsan na nag-a-attend ay mga USEC lang, lahat po na apat na kailangan tugunan, simula po sa disaster resilience, pagbawas ng mga nasa peligro tulad ng relocation. Pangalawa, ang disaster preparedness, tulad po ng maagap na pag-warning, maagap po na pag-organisa ng local government. Pangatlo, disaster response, rescue, and relief na ngayon po ginagawa ng DSWD. Subalit po, hindi naman sila nagre-rescue. Pang-apat, ang rehabilitation na iatas po sa isang komitiba na ang head po ay NEDA na isa lang naman po na planning staff. Sa Matwidyo Honor, imbis na isang komitiba ang tumutugon, kundi isang permanenteng opisina na may tao, responsibilidad. Isa lang ang kausap, isa lang magdidesisyon, isa lang po ang sisisihin. Hindi tulad ngayon na marami ka pong mga cluster na kung minsan isa lang representative ni Secretary so and so, kaya hindi po nababind o nakukumit sa isang estratehiya yung departamentong to, yun pagdating po sa mga kailangan. Halimbawa, sa disaster preparedness. So, importante po, Your Honor, itong departamento ito, yung Republic Act 10121, inorganisa ang lahat ng local government bilang isang permanenteng opisina para tumugon sa peligro. Subalit yung national government ay hindi po siya organisado as permanent office, kundi isang council. Sa matid ang ginagawa po ng Department of Disaster Resilience na magkaroon ng isang permanenteng disaster management office na tutugon sa apat. Hindi na apat para tumugon, kundi isa para po sa disaster reduction, disaster preparedness, disaster response, rescue and relief, at disaster rehabilitation. So yun po talaga pinakabuod kung ano yung structural na pagbabago ng balangkas ng ating gobyerno dahil po mas unpredictable po ang mga disaster, bigla na lang pumuputok ang bulkan na nanahimik ng 60 taon, bigla na lang po mas malakas pa sa kasaysayan ang dumapo doon sa Leyte, bigla na lang. So, hindi ko po may tatatwa. Sa Estados Unidos, ang federalismo ay nakatulong para po mas maagap makatugon ang mga states. Subalit, siguro may naririnig kang FEMA or Federal Emergency Management Administration. Pag may kulang, because kung minsan, halimbawa, ang Leyte, yung epekto ng Yolanda umabot ng 105 billion. Magkano yung disaster calamity fund ng Leyte? 80 milyon. Kaya kailangan pong pumasok ang national government. Kaya tulad po din dito, Ito po ay isang pagsuporta, pagtaguyod ng primacy ng local government in addressing and confronting and responding to disaster risks, including climate change risk.
Allow us to, again, disagree with the position of the gentleman. Yolanda is a good case in point where the national government failed
Yes.
because although they had an oversupply, a surplus of cash and money and materials, tinan niyo nangyari. Nabulok ang mga relief goods, hindi na umabot sa mga tao, ang pera ay hindi nagastos, ang mga bahay ay hindi na itayo. Kung ibinigay ninyo yung pera sa mga mayors, katulad ni Mayor Gomez ng Ormoc, palagay ko maraming bahay ang magagawa noon. Kung binigay niyo kay Governor Romualdez or Mayor Romualdez ang pera, madaling nakakabuo ng bahay yun. Pero hindi. Nakialam ang gobyerno, ang national government, sila humawak ng pera, sila humawak ng material, sila nag-appoint ng mga tao. Ano nangyari? Wala. Hanggang ngayon, nakatiwangwang ang mga tao na walang bubong sa kanilang mga ulunan. Why? Because decentralization does not mean efficiency. Centralization only hinders action. The principle of local governance and local autonomy are already in place, but we would not want to exercise it. We create the department over and above the local official. That will cause a bigger problem, especially if my good friend in the coming years may decide to go back to Albay
Very good.
or seek a higher office. And I would expect him to promote local autonomy and not to buy the wrong notion that centralization is the solution. Centralization is stagnation. Decentralized governance, which is already in place, must be promoted, supported, and done by the government. So therefore, creating a department does not guarantee better public service. It will only hinder the quick reaction of those who should be on their toes when disasters hit. Because there is a department that is now in charge. There is a department secretary who will be parading up and down the avenues saying, I am here now, I am Superman. But action will not be forthcoming simply because decentralization, local autonomy, and respect for the capabilities of communities to give themselves better action and attention actually are the requirements of the time. So therefore, I'll beg to disagree with the gentleman that creating a department will solve the problem of the Filipinos. We should be prepared to even suffer more. Thank you for your candid answers. I know that deep in your heart, you agree with me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Isa lang pong punto. Nung inaarap ko lahat ng bagyo at mga putok ng bulkan sa Albay, ang dami ko pong kailangan kausap sa national government. Under this bill, isa na lang po ang kausap ko.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Caloy Zarate of Party List Bayan Muna for his interpellation. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Carlos Zarate from Bayan Muna Party List recognized to interpellate the sponsor of House Bill 5989. Session suspended.
Napakiusapan. Kakaya naman.
Sessions resume. Once again, I recognize Honorable Carlos Zarate from Bayan Muna Party List to interpellate the good sponsor, the honorable sponsor of House Bill 5989, Honorable Joey Salceda.
Maraming salamat, Ginoong Speaker. Mamarapatin po ba ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor na sagutin ang ilan nating mga katanungan sa paglilinaw ng ating panukaling batas?
Opo.
Maraming salamat po. Bilang panimula po siguro, pwede po bang mag-update ang ating kagalang-galang na sponsor? As we speak now, magkano po ba ang pondo ng natin para po sa kalamidad at disaster?
16 billion po nasa national government at sa mga individual po na local government ay nasa 30 billion. Sabat with your honor, mas malaki po ang pondo para sa kalamidad ng mga local government kaysa national government.
Salamat po. So sa taong 2020 ay merong 16 billion.
Opo.
Tama po ba yun na ang aking nabasa na kalahati sa 16 billion na ito ay nakalaan naman para sa rehabilitasyon ng Marawi? Tama?
Tama po.
Tama po. So meron lang po tayong theoretically, out of the allocated budget for 2020 na 8 billion sa national as a calamity fund. Is that correct, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Tama po yan.
Now, nung sa 2019 po, meron po ba tayong datos? Magkano po ang ating calamity fund noong 2019?
Nasa 20 billion po.
20 billion. Sa local naman po, magkano ang pondo para sa local?
28 billion?
28 billion more or less. Kadugtong po na tanong, noong 2019, kung meron po tayong 20 billion, naubos po ba yung 20 billion na yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Naubos po.
Naubos po ang 20 billion.
Opo.
Meron din ho akong nabasan, itong bago lang, na merong pondo para sa Marawi na dahil hindi ito nagamit, ay nag-lapse po. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker? Kabahagi po ba ito ng sinasabi ninyong 20 billion na pondo para sana noong nakaraang taon?
Kasama po.
Kasama po. So,
Last year. Pati na yung 2020. Yes, sir?
okay. So, kasama po siya sa 20 billion ang pondo para sa Marawi Rehabilitation na hindi ho nagamit. No? Paano po natin nasabi na yung 20 billion in 2019 ay naubos, samantalang mayroong pondo na hindi nga nagamit at hindi siya nailaan doon sa rehabilitasyon ng Marawi, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Na-allocate po siya, Your Honor. It's, ang ating po ay continuing appropriations. So bilang po, in the spirit of transparency, may 3.4 billion po na hindi nagamit, pero po ay nilaan po para sa Marawi. Sa mga tuwid, ngayon pong taon, may magagamit pong 6.9 billion para po sa rehabilitasyon ng Marawi. 3.4 plus 3.5 na galing po sa 2020.
So, ibig pong sabihin, dahil hindi ito nagamit in 2019,
Opo.
so by 2020, pwede pang gamitin.
Opo, kasi continuing appropriation po siya.
Sige po, maraming salamat. Ililinaw ko lang po ito. Meron ho akong nakuhang mga datos doon sa report na ginawa ng COA, Commission on Audit, on how we expend our disaster fund, or calamity fund. In 2018, ang sinabi po ng COA, yung beginning balance ng summary of receipts and of the disaster fund in 2018 ay meron siyang 43 billion 51,291,897 and 53 centavos. At the end of 2018, ang ending balance po ng 2018, ayon po sa COA, ay umabot siya ng 506 and 82 centavos at the ending balance of 2018. Dahil po doon sa mga pondong ating inallocate, ang sabi ng COA, nakita niya, doon sa NDRRM fund, only 34.6% ang kanyang utilization. No? Doon naman sa QRF, 28%. Doon sa MRRP is 59%. Yun po, no, ang nasabi. Kaya at the end of 2018, lumaki, no? Lumaki yung kanyang ending balance. And at the beginning of 2019, meron hong humigit kumulang na 56.6 billion calamity fund. 56.6 billion. So ang kasunod ko po na tanong, kung nabanggit nyo kanina, in 2019, meron tayong nilaan uli na 20 billion plus 56 billion. Ibig po bang sabihin na at the beginning of 2019, dahil nadagdagan siya ng 20 billion, magkano po ang nagiging ending balance in 2019 para po masabi natin na ito yung kabuuang calamity fund at the beginning of 2020 na dinagdagan naman natin ng 16 billion. Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Pwede ko ba sabihin ito? Your Honor, pwede akong bumalik kasi mukhang pati kami nag-aaway na. So baka pwede po na may explain ko sa inyo na magsisimula po ko 2016 hanggang 2020 kung napapano po yung pondo ng DRMF Fund para po mas malinaw. Sa tingin ko, Your Honor, kung mabigyan niyo po ako ng isang sa Lunes, kasi Miyerkules ngayon, o Biyernes, para po may paliwanag kung napapano po. Kasi po ang Calamity Fund ang pinakasagradong pondo ng gobyerno kasi ito po ay isa pong because this fund saves lives. So, Your Honor, it is really proper that this fund should be fully and properly accounted for.
Very well, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. No? Kaya ko po tinatanong itong pondong ito, no? Dahil ang sinasabi, no, na parating kulang tayo ng pondo at hindi nagagamit yung pondo sa dapat paglalagyan na makakatulong sa ating mga kababayan. No? So gusto nating malaman, bago tayo mag-desisyon na ipasa ang panukalang batas na ito at gumawa ng isang bagong departamento, paano ba ginasta ang pondong ito? At sa kasalukuyan, magkano ba talaga ang pondong ito? No? Lalo't higit, nitong mga nakaraang mga araw ay nakaranas tayo ng mga kalamidad sa Batangas, nung sumabog ang Bulkang Taal, sa Mindanao, ang mga sunod-sunod na lindol, at sa Visayas at ibang bahagi ng Luzon ay ang bagyo naman. At any rate, aantayin po natin ang magiging datos na ipoprovide ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor. Pupunta na po ako dito sa mga probisyon ng ating panukalang batas, kung inyo po mamarapatin. Kahit pa man po noong 17th Congress, nung atin na rin pinagdebatihan itong panukalang batas na ito, matampok po yung katagang resilience. No? Gusto nga nating baguhin ang katawagan, hindi na disaster rehabilitation and management. No? Ito po ay isang department for disaster resilience. No? Na ito po yung bagong byword ngayon in pushing for this department. Pero po sa nakikita ko rito, hindi lang, and I quote, no? Sinabi rito sa panukalang batas, dinefine ang there is this National Disaster Resilience Framework na sinasabi that is, quote, comprehensive, all hazards, multi-sectoral, interagency, and composed of, and community-based. Dagdag po dito, ang sinabi rin doon sa Section 2, subparagraph Y, the resilience framework is composed of national disaster risk Reduction and Management Framework, NDRRMF, and National Framework Strategy on Climate Change. Ang tanong ko po, pwede pong ilinaw natin ano po ang ibig sabihin nito ng dalawang framework na ito na sinasabi ninyo na kasama doon sa National Disaster Resilience Framework na siyang pinakabuod ng panukalang batas na ito, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Pag tingnan mo po yung peligro na hinaharap natin, sa kabuuan po, dalawa po ang pinagmumulan. Isa, dahil po sa masasabi nating natural disaster, tulad ng lindol, bulkan. Mayroon din po, dahil po ang Pilipinas, ang ating pong lokasyon, ay nasa isang lugar kung saan po talaga halos lahat ng bagyo ay dumadaan na pinanganak po sa Pasipiko. Yung climate resilience, kasama po doon yung mga pagharap sa bagyo. Subalit, mas malaki pa doon. So, in other words, kung imagine po, may dalawang klaseng overlap. Kasi po, ang climate resilience, patungkol din po sa agrikultura, patungkol din po sa human settlement. So, may mga sinasaklawan siya na parte ng ating buhay bilang lipunan na apektado po ng climate change, pero hindi po siya isang disaster. Ang disaster naman po ay, ang National Disaster Framework ay pinapasiguro na lahat po ng klaseng disaster, whether from climate or from natural disaster, yun po ang kanya pong sinasaklawan. So hindi lang po siya yung galing sa bagyo, kundi pati na po yung galing sa bulkan. Yung climate framework naman, hindi lang po disaster, kundi pati po agrikultura, human settlements, at iba pong mga aspeto ng buhay ng isang komunidad o lipunan.
Salamat po, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Sa kasalukuyan po ba ay meron ng nabalangkas patungkol dito sa dalawang sinabi ninyong hiwalay pero magkaugnay na framework, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Meron po, kaso ay hindi po nakakascade, hindi po na-interpret para po magamit ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan. Nabasa ko na po yung dalawa, kailangan po i-update at kailangan po mas malawakan po ang pagpapatupad at pagpapaintindi sa mga tao apektado o maaari pong apektado. So, nabasa ko na po yung dalawa, National Framework for Climate Change and yung National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Plan. Nabasa ko na po. Dahil ito po ay dalawang dokumento na kailangan natin pong isubmit sa mga convention kung saan po tayo nakapirma. Halimbawa ng UNFCCC or United Nations Framework for Climate Change Convention at saka yung isa naman po doon sa Kyoto Protocol,
Kyoto Protocol.
Sendai Framework na kung saan po signatory din po ang ating bansa at kailangan po natin mag-submit nitong dalawang dokumentong ito.
Maraming salamat, Ginoong Sponsor. At sa kasalukuyan, dahil sinabi ninyo ay meron namang nabalangkas na, no? Itong dalawang framework na ito, actually hindi ito bago. Nung pinasok ito dito sa panukalang batas, katunayan, meron na yung existing na ang dalawang framework na ito, no? Na in fact, nagkakaroon ng convergence from time to time. Ang sunod ko pong katanungan, sino po ang pangunahing ahensya sa kasalukuyan na siya pong pangunahing namamahala at naniniguro na itong dalawang framework na ito ay ating nai-implement, no? In times of, in response to, for example, disaster or as a result of climate change, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Doon po sa climate change, ang Climate Change Commission. Doon po sa National DRR Management Plan, ang NDRRMC na ang secretariat po ay ang OCD.
At dito po sa inyong panukalang batas, these two frameworks will now be under the Department of Disaster and Resilience. Tama po ba yun?
They will cohabit. Cohere.
At ang papel ng Climate Commission ay mawala na po. Tama po ba yung pagkakaintindi ko, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Come again, sir?
What will now be the role of the Climate Commission?
Ang Climate Change Commission, sila rin po namumuno dahil marami pong inatas na batas na sila po nagpapatupad. At isa pa po, sila pong itinalaga natin bilang makipag-negotiate para sa ating gobyerno, para sa ating taong bayan, pagdating po doon sa UNFCCC. Pangalawa, siya rin pong itinalaga bilang pong taga-access ng pera na ibinayad po ng mga mayayamang bansa bilang pong pansuporta sa mga adaptation measures na ang tawag po ay Green Climate Fund. Nakatalaga po doon at nakasaad na ang Climate Change Commission, siya po ang magre-represent at siya lang po ang pwede mag-access ng pondong yon. At marami pa pong bagay na wala po sa na wala pong disaster aspects, kundi mga risk to other aspects of our life as a society and as a community. So, as I've said, you have human settlements, you can even go as far as monetary policy, you can go, so in other words, Your Honor, under this bill, they cohabit or they cohere. In other words, their roles are being defined, and therefore each of these, whether the new DDR would know what is their relationship with CCC, and the CCC, of course, is linked to or siya po ay merong interdepartmental linkage po dito po sa pinopropose. Kaya hindi mo naman kailangan po na gawing mag-asawa o ipakasal, subalit pwede po sila, ang tawag ko po dito, live-in po, yung dalawa.
Salamat po, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So, pupunta na po ako doon sa ibang provision ng proposed law. Dito po sa sinabi ninyong framework ngayon na meron ng magli-live-in, yung framework on disaster and framework on doon sa climate change. Kapuna-puna po, kapansin-pansin, no? Ng pag-introduce ng isang bagong concept dito. While it was mentioned doon sa Section 2, paragraph Y, that this will be, the framework now is comprehensive, all-hazard, multi-sectoral, interagency, and community-based. Pero mas pinalaliman po ito pagdating doon sa paragraph J ng panukalang batas. At sinabi rito that this framework will adopt a whole of society, whole of government, and whole of nation approach in disaster preparedness to increase collaboration, planning, etc., etc. So, meron pong tatlong concept na doon po sa, maalala ko po, nung 17th Congress, na-introduce na rin ang ilang concepts na ito. Whole of government, and the whole of society. Ang bagong konsepto pong pinasok ninyo ngayon dito ay whole of nation approach. Nandun po sa Section 2, W. At sa tingin po ng kinatawang ito, ito po ang very controversial, dangerous, even on our part, objectionable. Una ko pong nabasa kasi yung whole of nation approach na sinasabi doon sa inilabas na Executive Order number 70 ng Pangulong Duterte. Pagkatapos na kinansila unilaterally ng gobyerno ng Republika ng Pilipinas ang usapang pangkapayapaan ng GRP at ng National Democratic Front of the Philippines. At sinabi po doon sa Executive Order number 70 na siya po ngayong Biblia ng counterinsurgency ng Duterte administration dahil ito po ang ginagamit na tungtungan ng mga kampanya nasa security sector. Isa po in the whereas clause of that Executive Order number 70, it says, the whole of nation approach address the root cause of insurgencies, internal disturbances and tensions and other armed conflicts and threats by prioritizing and harmonizing the delivery of basic services and social development packages with the government, facilitating societal inclusivity and ensuring active participation of all sectors of society in the pursuit of the country's peace agenda. So, that's one of the whereas clause, i-institutionalize yung whole of nation. Then, in Section 2, to further institutionalize this whole-of-nation approach, EO70 created the National Task Force to end the local communist armed conflict. It says to ensure efficient and effective implementation of the whole-of-nation approach. A task force, a national task force to end local communist armed conflicts is hereby created under the Office of the President. So doon ko pa unang nakita itong whole-of-nation approach. No? So this whole-of-nation approach is actually a counterinsurgency approach. No? This is now the approach of the present administration. No? Para daw matugunan ang mahigit limang dekada ng rebellion sa ating bayan. Tama po ba ang appreciation ko, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yung paggamit po ng pananalitang yan ay nalimitahan po base po sa definisyon dito sa batas na to. At hindi ko na siguro kailangan pagawayan pa ng isang batas at ang isang EO, alam na natin kung sino masusunod. Subalit po, ano po talaga in essence ang Whole of Nation? Sinasabi po ng Whole of Nation na pagdating po sa pagharap sa mga peligro, dapat isaisip ng pangkasalukuyan ang mga susunod na henerasyon. In other words, it is an intertemporal, intergenerational approach so that we avoid maladaptation. Akala mo, nakaka-save ka ng tao. Subalit, dahil sa ginawa mo, na ipipiligro mo naman yung mga susunod na generation. Yung paggamit po ng word na Whole of Nation ay nandyan po yung spirito at sa tingin ko naman, mag-agree po ang aking pong kausap ngayon na wala pong masama kung isaisip mo kung ano nakabubuti para po sa future generation sa mga patakaran mo sa ngayon. Yun po ang meaning ng Whole of Nation as defined in the proposed law and as is the spirit in where it's used when we talk about disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation. That is the interpretation of Whole of Nation.
Salamat po, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Kung ang tinuran po ng ating kagalang-galang na Speaker at Sponsor ay ganun nga ang pakahulugan ng Whole of Nation approach, ay pwede ho siguro kaming magkakasundo. Pero, ito po ang malaking pero. Kung babasahin po natin ang nakatitik, ang nakalagay sa inyong panukalang batas, no? W, Section 2. Whole of Nation approach refers to an approach that seeks to bring about a concerted effort towards sustainable development and national peace and security by creating consensus and understanding of development and security that is shared not just among core security forces and oversight government institutions, but also by the nation's stakeholders such as government, civil society, private sector, and the communities. Nanamnamin ko po yan. Nanamnamin po natin yan. Ano po ang ibig pakahulugan ng inyong sinabi rito Whole of Nation approach? The security forces ay meron silang concept of what is development and security. At ito ang gusto nilang magiging shared vision natin sa pamamagitan ng panukalang batas na ito. Kailangang kasama nila ang lahat na stakeholders, government, civil society, private sector, and the communities in this understanding of development and security. So yun po ang nakakapangamba doon. No? Sa pamamagitan po ng panukalang batas na ito, ini-institutionalize po natin ang isang executive order na isang counter-insurgency framework. At pinapasok natin ang counter-insurgency framework na ito dito sa isang panukalang batas na mag-create ng isang departamento. Very innocent, but actually, you are now converting this department into another counter-insurgency tool, no, to suppress the rights of our people, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
At the appropriate time, this sponsor will be willing to consider so that the language will be more apropos what is the spirit of a Whole of Nation.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. But again, yun po ang nakakapangamba, no? Because that is already introduced here. No? There's a nuance in using that phrase, call of nation, because that is really a counterinsurgency framework under Executive Order number 70, which at present is very executive order na napakarami pong tinamaan, no? Lalong-lalo na sa paglabag sa karapatang pantao ng ating mga kababayan dahil ho sa pag-create nitong National Task Force to supposedly end local communist armed conflict, but in the main, sila po ang naging dahilan sa tuloy-tuloy na pag-aatake sa karapatan ng ating mamamayan. Well, pupunta po ako sa susunod na point. No? Probably my other colleagues who will interpolate later will expound on this further. Doon po sa panukalang batas ninyo, kung maalala ko po, doon sa kasalukuyang batas, Republic Act 10181, ang isa pong pinaka-sentro na feature ng batas na yon ay ang creation ng 10121 ay ang pagtatayo at pagtatayo ng mga local DRRN Council, no? Kung saan ang mga kinatawan ng civil society organization and private sectors were represented. Yan po ang isa sa isang feature, no, ng Republic Act 10121. Ang napapansin ko po dito, hayagan, explicitly, inabolish ang mga local DRRM Council. Pwede po bang maipaliwanag ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor, Mr. Speaker, bakit po ang isang konseho na kung saan ay merong partisipasyon ng ating mga mamamayan, mga civil society organizations and private sector, ay winalis at tinanggal sa kasalukuyang batas na ito, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Well, Your Honor, sa taas, nilagay po in replacement ng NDRMC bilang pong source ng inputs from other stakeholders of our society, including NGOs, POs, yung multi-stakeholders convergence unit. Sa tingin ko, Your Honor, na ito ay maaaring i-replicate at a future time, Your Honor, for their local yung kanila pong provincial and city and municipal levels, Your Honor. Maaari po yung italaga po dito sa batas.
Well, be that as it may, no? Pero malinaw dito na tinanggalan, no? Contrary to the statement, no? The principles laid down, policies laid down in this proposed bill that in fact doon kung babalikan natin ang framework, no? Sabi ninyo this will be community-based, multi-sectoral, pero yung isang konseho na ginawa na ng batas ay tinanggal dito. Kaya po ang aking pagkakahulugan dito, ayaw ng mga sponsors o na nagtutulak nito na maging aktibo ang mga civil society organization dito sa usapin ng disaster management and disaster response, no? Dahil gusto nating isuplant, no? Dahil nga ito ay isang counterinsurgency tool, no? At andyan ang mga civil society organizations and private sector, no? Ito yung mga natutuguri ang mga maiingay, no? Kine-question sa loob ng konseho ang mga patakaran na hindi sa tingin natin ay para sa interes ng mamamayan. Kaya alam ko po, ginoong sponsor, Mr. Speaker, nung kayo po ay naging gobernador, no, ng probinsya ng Albay, you are an advocate of this local disaster council. No? Kaya po ako nagtataka. No? At kayo pumayag na tanggalin at walisin ito dahil this empowered our people when we say and when we argue that this bill is really community-based and our people are sila yung pangunahing pwersa. No? Mausapin man ng disaster yan, rehabilitasyon, o usapin man ng pagbabago ng epekto ng mga pagbabago ng klima, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Tama po.
Sumasangayon po kayo na mali itong ginawang pagwalis o pag-alis sa mga local councils.
In another name, Your Honor, kasi tama po kayo na kailangan po ang synergy with communities with various levels or hierarchy of local governments, Your Honor.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. At napansin ko po rito para po bilang token, no? Pakonsuelo de Bobo. Sabi nga ng iba, inalis yung Disaster Council, Local Disaster Council, at sabi rito, magtayo na lang tayo ng isang Disaster Resilience Assembly, which will meet once every quarter on the regional level and provincial level. No? Who will compose of this DRA or Disaster Resilience Assembly? Sino po ang kabahagi nito? At ano po ang papel nito? Ano talaga ang function nitong DRA na ito? Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Unang-una, para mapag-usapan po, para mahango po, ma-mobilize po ang mga sources po ng mga ideas patungkol po sa pagharap po sa peligro. Pangalawa po, na sila po ay makasama sa mismong aksyon kung kailangan nating harapin ang mga peligrong ito. Sino ba mga members nito? Section 19. Ang mga kasama po dito ay Malakman, One-minute suspension, Your Honor.
Session suspended. Uy, bilis naman ako.
Mr. Speaker,
Session resumed.
base po sa page 36, section 37, ang mga magiging miyembro po nito ay ang ULAP, League of Cities, Philippine, PCL, LMP, CSO, NGOs, Academe, DRMO practitioner, private sector, at sila po, ang presumption dito ay tatalaga po upon nomination ng department and shall be nominated by the President.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. No? Tama po kayo, no? Meron ngang banggit na itong Disaster Resilience Assembly, which will convene, no, every quarter, ay meron namang banggit, no, sa usapin ng membership ng civil society organization. Ang hindi humalinaw rito, nagkaroon ng assembly, ano ba ang kanyang poder or power? No? Ito bang assembly na ito ay parang isang meeting lang ng isang club, nag-uusap-usap, pero meron ba itong policy making powers or ano po? Dahil hindi malinaw dito sa sections 37, what is the role, no, of this Disaster Resilience Agency, except it says that it will be convened to ensure and foster coordination and collaboration in the implementation of this act. As to how it will foster...
Kaya po yan by IRR, Your Honor. IRR.
Sa IRR na lang po natin iiwan, no? Pero wala
Kasi yung spirit nandyan. LGUs may convene local DRAs within their jurisdiction as necessary for the attainment of disaster resilience at the local level. Sigurado po ako kung alba ito, pagpapatupad ng batas na to, ay sigurado po automatic. Yan ang una kong gagawin. Kasi hindi ko kaya po yan mag-isa.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor. I hope, no, na linawin ito dahil napaka-broad nung pagbanggit lang, no? inalis natin yung local disaster councils, bumuo lang tayo ng isang assembly, no? Every quarter, magkikita-kita, siguro magkikita-kita, usap-usap, pero kung ang napag-usapan dito, saan ito papunta, ay hindi malinaw sa panukalang batas na ito. Unlike under 10121, malinaw ang powers and duties and functions of the local disaster council. No? Yan ang existing setup ngayon. At isang malaking katanungan, bakit gusto nating alisin yung setup na yan na nakikita naman natin how effective is that in its implementation. Now, on my next point, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, napuna ko rin, nakita ko rin dito sa panukalang batas na ito, napakaraming broad powers being granted to the Secretary and to the Department itself. No? But my colleagues will expound on that in their interpellation. I'll go directly to a related point. No? I observe that there are provisions here that, to my interpretation, ang disaster po ay ginagawang negosyo. It's being commercialized. I'll cite one. No? Binanggit po rito sa Section 5, Paragraph B, Subparagraph 13, no? That the department, no, this bill, designs and will implement, quote, an incentive system for greater private and public investments both at the local and national levels. Pwede po bang maipalawanag ng kagalang-galang na sponsor, Mr. Speaker? Ano po ang ibig sabihin natin na bibigyan natin ng insentibo para sa mas malawak pang private investments, no, sa usapin ng disaster preparedness, disaster rehabilitation, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Maraming bagay po. Bago po mangyari, meron po tayong tinatawag po natin parametric insurance. Yun nangyari pong paglindol doon sa Mindanao. Agad-agad po nakapagbigay ng 832 million na wala pong adjustment. Dito naman pong daan ni Tisoy sa Albay, nakapag-release po ng 242 million dahil po sa parametric. Yun po ang nagpatakbo doon ay private sector. Sila po nag-absorb ng risk. Kung wala po nangyaring bagyo, yung binayad nating 2 billion, kanya na. Subalit po, mas malaki po ang binayad nila sa atin. So in short, pwede pong risk transfer or risk sharing. Ang pangalawa po, tulad po ng PDRF or Philippine Disaster Recovery Fund Foundation, pwede po tayo makipag-partner para po sa rehabilitasyon, para po magkaroon kaagad ng, alam naman po natin, ang private sector ay mas mabilis at sila po ay hindi subject sa procurement ng national government. So sila po pwede mag-raise ng pera sa labas ng bansa na pwede nilang gamitin at ituturo natin, huwag ka sa Pulanggi, doon ka sa Libon. So, Your Honor, ganong klase po ng mga partnership ang kaya pong gawin. Ang ibig sabihin po nitong page 17 na iyo pong tinuturo.
Salamat, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Tama po kayo, no? At yun nga po ang aking nakita rito na ito yung incentivization, no? Pag-incentivize sa disaster, no? In fact, ang kaakibat na provision dyan, nakita rin natin sa Section 5, Paragraph B, sa Paragraph 17. No? May banggit din na the department is mandated to establish a capacity mechanism, no? For, open quote, disaster risk financing insurance and other risk transfer strategies. No? So ang operative word po dyan, insurance and risk transfer strategies. And finally, sinabi rin sa panukalang batas na ito that the DDR has the authority to require all government agencies, GOCCs, and LGUs to insure their assets and or properties and pay the premium in that insurance system, for the insurance. No? So ang tingin ko po rito, ito yung sa pananaw ng kinatawang ito, talagang negosyo ito. No? nakakita ng negosyo sa disaster at magiging masaya ang insurance business dito. Maliban po dyan na maging masaya ang insurance business, ang pakahulugan po nito, sa halip na i-capacitate natin ang ating mga local councils, for example, local government units, mga community-based organizations, ang pondo po ng pamahalaan ay ilalagak niya sa pribadong sektor, pambayad po niya ng premium. No? Dahil gusto niyang i-transfer yung risk. Iiwasan ng pamahalaan ang kanyang responsibilidad sa panahon ng kalamidad, sa panahon ng epekto ng climate change, at ipasa ito sa pribadong sektor. Yun po ang nakikita ng kinatawang ito. Kaya big business po ito. Itong panukalang batas na ito ay hindi lang ito nagkikreate ng isang department, but it also provides opportunities for business, no? Especially doon sa tinatawag nating risk transfer strategies. No? And napakarami po nito. It's not just insurance. May reinsurance yan and many more related business, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Kung kaya po ng GSIS, pwede natin talaga na sila lang. Wala ako problema doon. Kung kaya ng GSIS, subalit po mukhang beyond its capacity to absorb risk, and therefore kaya po nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag nating reinsurance o risk transfer modes. Pero, Your Honor, ano yan kung ano kaya doon sa ilalim, yun ay bibigay natin. Kung sa tingin nyo mas mainam na doon yun, suportahan lalo natin para iangat yung kanilang kapasidad. In other words, it's based on capacity and the appropriateness of the strategy in terms of timeliness, in terms of their terrain knowledge, which is exactly, Your Honor, the same. Hanggang umaakyat ka, halimbawa, sa insurance, di naman ho kaya mag-pool. Pwede naman tayong mag-pool po ng mga insurance. Subalit po hindi kakayanin po ng mga local government units. Kaya kailangan po ang role po, ang papel po ng private sector, pati na po ng national government.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Napakaparami po sanang gustong ilinaw, pero napakalimitado po na ating oras. Gusto ko lang pong isumada yung aking gustong marehistrong punto rito. Na ang nakakapangamba sa panukalang batas na ito ay ang pag-introduce natin sa isang konsepto na kabahagi ng counterinsurgency concept, yung whole of nation approach, na sa kasalukuyan nga ay ito ang naging dahilan ng malawakang paglabag sa karapatang pantao ng ating mga mamayan. Nagresulta ito sa pagpaslang ng napakarami nating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na ang leader ng mga mahihirap na mga organisasyon, ng mga magsasaka, ng mga indigenous peoples. Nagresulta ito sa displacement. Itong counterinsurgency concept na ito nagresulta sa displacement ng ating mga kapatid na mga lumad o mga katutubo. At nagresulta rin ito sa malawakang red tagging, red baiting, and trump-up charges against several individuals. At sa likod nito, maliban pa po doon sa magiging counterinsurgency tool ito, ang panukalang batas na ito, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, ay isang tungtungan na naman para gawing negosyo kahit na ang disaster na nagdulot ng kapahamakan sa ating mga kababayan. Salamat po, Ginoong Sponsor, sa inyong paglilinaw sa ilang mga katanungan ng kinatawang ito. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend consideration of House Bill 5989.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the Journal Number 39 dated February 4, 2020. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to acknowledge the guests of our Speaker, Alan Peter Cayetano. They are guests from the U.S. Department of Treasury, Bonnie Oting, Faith Bautista, Jean Sung, Gigi Bautista, former Congresswoman Mighty Defensor, and Marcos Asuncion, and the U.S. Comptroller of Currency, Joseph Otting.
The guest of Speaker Alan Peter Compañero Cayetano is recognized. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Lakpakan po natin ulit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, also I'd like to acknowledge the guests of Honorable Josephine Lacson Noel of the Lone District of Malabon. They are the City of Malabon University Tiger Shark men's basketball team varsity players, headed by their coach, Mr. J.J. Balagtas.
Welcome to the House of the People. Lakpakan po natin. Guest of Representative Noel. Majority Leader.
And also, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Godofredo Guya of the party list Recoboda. They are Mrs. Edna Infante Guya, Father Jaime Jose, Maria Cristina Guya Guson, Tony Guson, and Benji Bejo, the guests of Godofredo Guya, Mr. Speaker.
Congressman Alfredo Guya, the guest. Recognized. Welcome to the House of the People po. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of unfinished business, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 137. And for this purpose, may I ask that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the bill. Title of the bill.
House Bill Number 137, an act imposing stiffer penalties for child abuse, exploitation, and discrimination, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 7610 as amended.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the parliamentary status of the bill is that it is in the period of sponsorship and debate. I move that the sponsor of the bill be recognized, the Honorable Yeda Romualdez of Tingog Sinirangan Party List.
Congresswoman Yeda K. Romualdez is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, there being no... Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of interpellation and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member who wishes to interpellate, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and interpellation and debate. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open debate of the period of committee amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no committee amendments, I move that we now close the period of committee amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of individual amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable X.J. Romualdo of the Lone District of Camiguin. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Majority Leader X.J. Romualdo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we'd like to propose individual amendments to House Bill number 137. And we'd like to start off with proposed amendments to page 1. The first is on lines 8 and 9 to delete the words of reclusion temporal, temporal in its medium period, and insert the words from 14 years, 8 months, and 1 day to 17 years and 4 months.
Mr. Speaker,
Leader. Sorry. The Congresswoman Romualdez is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, this representation poses no objection to the amendment proposed by Honorable X.J. Romualdo.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the amendment as proposed by the Honorable Romualdo. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, still on page 1, on line 12, we propose to delete the words reclusion perpetua and insert the words 30 years and 1 day to 40 years.
Sponsor.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable X.J. Romualdo. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Deputy Majority Leader Romualdo is recognized.
Still on page 1, Mr. Speaker, on lines 16 and 17, delete the words of reclusion temporal in its maximum period and insert the words from 17 years, 4 months, and 1 day to 20 years.
Madam Sponsor.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable Romualdo.
Is
So
there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Congressman Romualdo.
On number kanina. Yes. On this time, Mr. Speaker, we're now on page 2. On lines 8 and 9, delete the words of reclusion temporal in its minimum period and insert the words from 12 years and 1 day to 14 years and 8 months.
Madam Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, this representation is amenable to the amendment.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable Romualdo. So
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Deputy Majority Leader Romualdo is recognized again.
Still on page 2, Mr. Speaker, on lines 14 and 15, delete the words of reclusion temporal in its medium period and insert the words from 14 years, 8 months, and 1 day to 17 years and 4 months.
Madam Sponsor.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we accept the proposed amendment of the Honorable Romualdo.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Deputy Majority Leader Romualdo.
Mr. Speaker, still on page 2, on lines 23 and 24, delete the words of prisión mayor in its maximum period and insert the words from 10 years and 1 day to 12 years.
Madam Sponsor.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable Romualdo.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Congressman Romualdo.
Still on page 2, Mr. Speaker, on lines 27 and 28, we propose to delete the words reclusion temporal in its medium period and insert the words from 14 years, 8 months, and 1 day to 17 years and 4 months.
Madam Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, we accept.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable X.J. Romualdo.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Congressman Romualdo.
This time, Mr. Speaker, we're on page 3. On line 3, delete the words of prisión mayor in its maximum period and insert the words from 10 years and 1 day to 12 years.
Madam Sponsor.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable X.J. Romualdo.
Is there any objection? The chair is done. Motion is approved. Deputy Majority Leader Romualdo.
Still on page 3, Mr. Speaker, on lines 11, 12, and 13, delete the words of reclusión temporal to reclusión perpetua and insert the words from 12 years and 1 day to 30 years.
Madam Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, this representation poses no objection.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable Romualdo.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Congressman Romualdo.
We're now on page 5, Mr. Speaker. On lines 8 and 9, delete the words of prison correctional in its medium period and insert the words from 2 years, 4 months, and 1 day to 4 years and 2 months.
Madam Sponsor.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable Romualdo.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Congressman Romualdo.
For our last proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, still on page 5, we propose to delete the lines 25 and 26. And that is all, Mr. Speaker.
Madam Sponsor.
We accept, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendment of the Honorable Romualdo.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Sponsor.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no further amendments, I move that we close the period of individual amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend consideration of House Bill number 137. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? Chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
1 minute suspension.
Session suspended.
Isa lang, andito.
Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move, may we recognize the guests of the Honorable Majority Leader Ferdinand Martin Romualdez and Tinug Party List Representative Yeda Romualdez. From the LGU of Lucban, Quezon, Mayor Celso Oliver Dator, Captains Cap Godofredo Martinez, Cap Edgardo Abustan, Cap Wheeler Raceles, Cap Josephine Wakala, Cap Fernando Raneses, Cap Florencia, Cap Francisco Oblefias, Cap Alejandro Dahilig, Cap Gilberto Rasio, Cap Luis Dator, Cap Sunday Alvarez, Cap Marcelino Arquisa, Cap Flaziano Dator, Cap Romy Cada, Cap Teodoro Villaflor, Cap Roselito Japera, Cap Nicomedes Oblea, Cap Teodoro Villa Jr., Cap Fillmore Hugo, Councilors, Councilor Virgilio Oblea, Councilor June Ver, Councilor Andak Salvatierra, Councilor Enrique Bustil, Councilor Edmilo Dator, Councilor Christine Macasero, Councilor Chadrick Baluchay, Councilor Ricardo de Vargas, Miss Jesusa Ela, Miss Maria Lourdes Villega, Mark Salayo, Celit Ariola, Pedro Macasero, Jamil Bisagas, and Mario Ilagan, Mr. Speaker.
Guests of Majority Leader Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez and my comadre Yeda, Congresswoman Yeda K. Romualdez from the LGU of Lucban, Quezon. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Pakpakan po natin, malayo pa po pinanggalingan nila. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the change of referral of the following measures. House Bill number 1257, creating the National Local Roads Development Bureau, from the Committee on Public Works and Highways to the Committee on Government Reorganization and Public Works and Highways. House Bill number 4079, providing for the creation of the Pangasinan River Control System, from the Committee on Public Works and Highways to the Committee on Government Reorganization and Public Works and Highways. And House Bill number 1481, creating the Solar Energy Development Authority, from the Committee on Government Reorganization and Energy to the Committee on Energy.
Is there any objection? Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, also House Bill number 1930, conferring the cadets of the Philippine National Police Academy the status of the government employees and granting them with civil service eligibility and benefits and privileges, from the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation to the Committee on Public Works and Safety. Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion approved. Motion is approved. The following House Bill be referred to the appropriate and certain measures. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move the consideration for adoption of resolution, House Resolution. I move to consider House Resolution 408, Committee Report 62, and ask the Secretary General to read the title.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General can read out the title.
House Resolution 408, a resolution urging the Philippine government to promote the simple act of gracefully laying the palm of the right hand over the center of the chest with the simultaneous slight head nod as a customary Filipino gesture of goodwill, praise, and respect.
Majority Leader.
I move to adopt House Resolution number 408. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adjourn session until February 10 at 3 p.m.
Is there any objection? Chair is none. Session adjourned until
February 10.
February 10, 3 p.m. next week.